Okay, I'll have the show details in a second, but I'm really hyper today. I want to ramble a bit. The Little Loop Railroad is going to an exhibition in January. My father and I used to do the Great Train Show in the Portland, Oregon region. The only reason we stopped is because COVID hit and the show shut down for a few years. When it returned, we've tried submitting, but we always submitted past the deadline and our layout never made it in. This year was especially stressful because I wanted to showcase the Little Loop Railroad. I thought it would be nice to have a small opportunity to meet people who follow the channel and to showcase the main project we've been doing for the last month or so. For these reasons, I've been super invested in getting into this year's show, but we were submitting at around the same time as we had for the last few years, so I was afraid we were just going to get rejected again. But when we did submit, we got a message that we were pending approval and that we would know about a month before the show. For the last 2 years, we were just outright rejected, so this was an encouraging message. And, well, today we got the news. On January 11th and 12th, at the Clark County Fairgrounds just north of Vancouver, Washington, we're going to be exhibiting our micromodel railroad as Trainmania at the Great Train Show. The Clark County Fairgrounds is a bit of a ways from Portland, admittedly, but I live on the east side of town and it's about a 30-minute drive. I think it'll be manageable. The show runs from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. both days, and tickets can be bought in person or online. For some reason, it's $12 for the first day, but only $11 for the second. Kids under the age of 12 get in for free. Now, you might have noticed, our submission says N scale, not ON30. This is because we have another layout we're displaying alongside the Little Loop Railroad, and for most people, it's actually more important. The other layout is just 2 loops of track, but we let kids run the trains. It's an important hands-on experience that I'm really glad to be bringing back to the show for the first time in 4 years. It's a really nice way to get kids actively engaged in the hobby and to give them an opportunity where, yes, they can mess with the trains. Now, 2 layouts is going to eat into our allocated space. We have the smallest footprint at the show. But our layouts are so small that we can easily fit in both with the space we were given. With that said, there's usually massive walkways around the layout spaces, so I'll see if I can cheat the space a bit to give us more room. If you can make it out to the show and you have any ON30 equipment, feel free to bring it. We'll run it. Though there are a few asterisks here. Forneys, surprisingly, handle the layout. However, they only work with passenger cars and excursion cars. Anything else gets pulled off the tracks. Both 2442 and 2662 articulated locomotives can work, but in order to make them functional, you need to remove a screw and move the drawbar connecting the 2 sets of drivers, so there's more room for the front set of drivers to freely turn. Aside from that, every Bachmann engine should work on this railroad without issue. 460s, 280s, Shays, Moguls, you bring it and we'll run it for a short time. The only other catch is that we will not have a DC system for this layout. If you have a DC locomotive, bring it at your own risk, since we're only running DCC. I think that covers about everything. If you have any questions, ask in the comments. I know most people won't be able to make it, since most people aren't in the Portland region, but I've heard from a few fans that they would be willing to fly out to see the show, and I also know some of you happen to live in the Portland region, so I'm sure we'll see somebody. With that all said, if you'll excuse me, I have to go speedrun finishing off the layout. I also might have to go find a few volunteers.